following video is not made for kids. Viewer discretion is advised. Hello to my subscribers, this is the TFangy coming to you with what will hopefully be a successful review, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Transformers Legacy United San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Fractured Friendship 2-pack. So, the two Transformers figures in this box set are Gladiator Megatron and Security Officer Orion Pax. These are the versions of Megatron and Optimus Prime right before they became the leaders of the Autobots and Decepticons in IDW's comic books. And this is the version of them from one of the two ongoing series that IDW was printing back during the 2010s. We got action figures of Megatron and Orion Pax from the other ongoing series from IDW that they were printing simultaneously during the 2010s, in which Megatron was a mine worker working in the mine tunnels of Cybertron, and Optimus Prime was a data clerk working in the archives, which made him essentially a librarian. But this is one where Optimus Prime was basically a security guard for Sentinel Prime and the Autobot High Council, and Megatron was a gladiator fighting in the gladiator pits. And so it amazes me that the two versions of Megatron and Optimus Prime that I am from IDW's comic books, well, I keep saying Optimus Prime, and I'm going to keep saying Optimus Prime, because even though this is supposed to be Optimus Prime when he's still Orion Pax, by all accounts, because of the head sculpt, the fact that he comes with the Matrix of Leadership, and the fact that he's slightly bigger and bulkier than the Optimus Prime figure he's retooled from, I've seen a lot of collectors incorrectly call this guy Optimus Prime, and I'm most likely going to end up doing that throughout the review. But what I was going to say is that it amazes me that the versions of IDW, Megatron, and Orion Pax, I corrected myself, is that they were released as exclusives. The versions we got in the Legacy Evolution line were released in two separate 2-packs exclusively through Amazon, and then this 2-pack was released exclusively at San Diego Comic-Con. And so that's just amazes me that Hasbro decided the IDW designs for Optimus Prime and Megatron were better sold as exclusives than at mass retail. But anyways, we got Gladiator Megatron here with his new weapon of an energy hammer. We got Orion Pax charging up his ion blaster at a security station, and it's a versus 2-pack since they're already on opposing sides. This version of Megatron's, he's technically already declared himself a Decepticon, even though he's not the Decepticon's leader, and Orion Pax is of course an Autobot. And even though they have the faction symbols for them printed up here on the top of the box, the actual action figures themselves don't have any faction symbols. They're factionless, so you're free to add stickers to them from Toy Hacks if you want. So, yeah, it's pretty rare when we get factionless. It has been rare in the past when we've gotten factionless versions of Optimus Prime and Megatron. But it's starting to become more commonplace. Hasbro is starting to see which Transformers action figures will sell and which ones won't, such as factionless versions of Optimus Prime and Megatron. And so, Orion Pax he is a repaint and a retool of the Transformers Studio Series Gamer Edition Optimus Prime based on the War for Cybertron video game from High Moon Studios. And the retool parts have actually made the figure slightly bulkier, so as far as I'm aware of, having every Hasbro released Orion Pax figure in my Transformers collection, this now holds the title, I believe, of being the physically bulkiest and largest Orion Pax figure we've gotten, since it's the first Orion Pax figure that's been sold at Voyager class sized. And then for Gladiator Megatron over here, he's the Transformers action figure that's been the make it or break it deal with this 2-pack, because Gladiator Megatron is once again a repaint and slightly retool, the only retooled part being a new head sculpt along with a new weapons. He once again utilizes the Siege Megatron mold, which we have seen multiple times over the years. And so here's one version that I actually got myself for Christmas last December. This is the Netflix Voyager class Megatron figure, which I have never done a video review on, and I have no plans on doing a video review of this figure, partially because when I got it off of Amazon, even though it was still inside the box, all the parts that used to be light gray have turned dull brown, which is a feature that plagues Transformers action figures released during the years 2020 and 2021. But I brought this figure out to do a size comparison, so technically this will also be a review of Netflix Voyager class Megatron, but the Siege Megatron mold, Gladiator Megatron, he is the 12th use of the Siege Megatron mold. We've gotten the Siege Megatron mold 12 times with this figure since it was first released in the Siege line back in 2019. We had Siege Megatron, 35th anniversary, Megatron, Generation Selects Combat Hero G2 Megatron, on Netflix Voyager class Megatron, Netflix Spoiler Pack Megatron, Shattered Glass Megatron, Generation Selects G2 Green Megatron, which was a repaint of Earthrise Megatron. We then got the two versions of the mold that I don't have, exclusively by Takara Tomy, in Premium Edition Megatron. Then we got the Nemesis Bridge Commander Megatron. Then we got Legacy Evolution IDW Minor Megatron. And we finally got Fractured Friendship IDW Gladiator Megatron for a total of 12 uses of the Siege Megatron mold. And believe it or not, that's not the mold from the Siege line that's been used the most common. The two most common uses from the Siege line have been Sideswipe, which has been used 16 times, and the Siege Optimus Prime mold, by affiliation with other figures that have parts that originally were used on the Siege Optimus Prime mold. That figure has been used 17 times. So yeah, even though Gladiator Megatron is the 12th use of this mold, he is not the most common figure to originate from the Siege line. But is the straight-up fact that the other previously aforementioned IDW Minor Megatron figure, which I apologize for not bringing out for a size comparison, but Gladiator Megatron is a straight-up repaint of the Legacy Evolution Minor Megatron that was released exclusively through Amazon in 2023. So in terms of uniqueness or originality, the only thing Gladiator Megatron has going for him is the paint job out of the IDW comic books that featured him as a gladiator. So Orion Pax has been, and no doubt about it, the selling figure of this 2-pack. So here on the top of the box, you got some close-up images of their faces staring off on each other on opposite sides of the versus sign. The name of the box set, Fractured Friendship 2-pack. So if you had gone to San Diego Comic-Con 2024 and you were looking to buy the exclusive Transformers product Hasbro was releasing at SDCC, this was the box set. This was the Transformers box set they were offering. You got the poster image for the Transformers Legacy United logo, and interestingly, the words Legacy United have been removed from the bottom of the box, but you do have the 40th anniversary logo up here on top. Coming down here to the side of the box, the other side of the box is actually a continuation of the artwork used here on Gladiator Megatron, so you can see the Gladiator pit where Megatron's sword is sticking inside a wall. He's got the arm of an opponent that he's ripped out a blaster on the ground. You got a sword on there and another Transformer eyeing the sword. Or the bot entering the arena on the opposite side of Megatron in the Gladiator pit. It almost looks like Barricade to me, but I could be incorrect. And then the other Transformers up in the stands are just a generic design. And it's hard to tell if they're based on any existing Transformers characters, and my camera's making it worse by blurring it when I get it too close. Almost looks like Brawl from the G1 Combaticons. But yeah, we got Megatron in the Gladiator pits, and then we got Orion Pax being a security officer. So here he is at a security locker room charging his ion blaster on a battery power generator. So yeah, really interesting designs there. Going here to the back of the box, you've got the product photos of both of them. Gladiator Megatron on his robot mode and his alternate mode of a drill tank. He transforms between both modes in 16 steps. And we got Orion Pax in his robot mode and his alt mode, and he transforms back and forth in 26 steps. So as I said, Orion Pax is the selling figure of this 2-pack. Since he's a retool of the Gamer Edition Optimus Prime, so that he's only the second use of this mold that's been released. And unlike the Gamer Edition Optimus Prime figure, which all the Gamer Edition Transformers figures bringing Gamer Edition Optimus Prime's Ion Blaster out, the only way to hold their weapons is to pop off their right side arms and plug the weapons onto them, since that's what they did in the Transformers video games. Their right arms would transform into their weapons, and then they would have them extending out of their right arms. But I guess there's been enough complaints from collectors and fans to Hasbro saying we don't like the gimmick of the only way of the Transformers being able to hold their weapons is by popping off the right side arm. So there's a new sculpted Orion Pax does come with the same Ion Blaster Gamer Edition Optimus Prime did, but there's now a new sculpted part that allows him to actually hold it in his hand. And so that's really nice that they did that. And then he has a bunch of other retool parts. And one of the biggest flaws with the Gamer Edition Optimus Prime figure is that there's technically no backside to his vehicle mode, so his robot mode arms stick out and you can see his hands. But for the IDW security officer version of Orion Pax, Hasbro, the designers at Hasbro Undercard told me fixed that, and now his hands are hidden in his alt mode. So Orion Pax is by all accounts the superior use of the Gamer Edition Optimus Prime mold, and that's why a lot of collectors and fans have been incorrectly calling him or purposely renaming him Optimus Prime, because this is one of the few Orion Pax action figures that's ever been released where, ironically, it makes a better Optimus Prime figure than the actual official Optimus Prime figure it's retooled from. And as I said, the only thing Gladiator Megatron has going for him and to make him unique compared to his fellow 12 uses of the Siege Megatron mold is his paint job. The red slash marks on his chest are from IDW's comic books, and all the red paint, that's pretty much it. One thing I do like about Gladiator Megatron's paint job is that because he has the black helmet and he looks a lot like Megatron, one could argue that this figure could pass for D16, which was Megatron's name before he changed it to Megatron. And that's pretty much it. That's the figures inside the box. Let's get them out and take a close look at them in the modes they're packaged in, which I already know is their robot modes. Alright, and so here are Optimus Prime or Orion Pax and Gladiator Megatron out of the box. Here's what they look like with all their accessory pieces attached. And they are pretty impressive looking. Again, even though Gladiator Megatron is the 12th use of the Siege Megatron mold, I really like the paint job from the IDW Gladiator comic books, especially the red paint that he has going for him. Like I said, the red paint, he's got red streaks under his eyes, he's got red paint on the letter M on top of his forehead. There have been a handful of Megatron action figures over the years that have had a letter M sculpted on them, and that's a tribute to the fact that Megatron, his original Generation 1 action figure, was originally sold as part of Takara Tomi's microchange line since he transformed into a handheld pistol, so that's with the letter M. So if you find a Megatron action figure that has a hidden letter M sculpted on it, that's a tribute to the fact that Megatron originated from Takara Tomi's microchange lane of transforming robots that transformed into handheld objects. And then he's got slash marks on his chest. He's got red splattered on both of his shoulders. There's red marks on his pelvis, and then he's got red X's on his kneecaps. So yeah, and then he's got red streaks on the front under his tank mode. So yeah, Megatron's defeated a lot of opponents, and I haven't actually read any of IDW's comic books. I don't know if he wears if it's red paint or if it's red energon, which is supposed to be the blood of his opponents that he's slaying in the Gladiator pits. But yeah, he looks like he's all decked out for battle, and he looks like he lives to fight, not just for the fun of fighting, but also because he enjoys murdering his opponents. So yeah, pretty dark and sinister of IDW to portray even Megatron in that light. He's got the same weapons that the IDW Legacy Evolution Minor Megatron came with, of the drill, which forms the front of the drill tank, the pickaxe, but then he's got these two new weapons of a sledgehammer, in which the hammerhead is made out of energon. Same thing with his sword, the blade of the sword is made out of energon. And so that's what he looks like with his weapons. When he transforms into alt mode, and I apologize if I'm jumping ahead in the review, but when you get into alt mode, unfortunately there's no proper weapon storage for the new sledgehammer and hammer and sword. The instructions didn't really show where to put them when you transform him into tank mode, but it's nice. They're nice weapons accessories nevertheless. And of course, the selling figure of this 2-pack is Orion Pax, since he's only the second use of the Gamer Edition Optimus Prime figure. And even though it's accurate to IDW's comic books, I kind of wish they would have given him the full face, because that's the distinction I've always viewed Orion Pax and Optimus Prime being. He gets the face plate that hides the lower half of his face when he upgrades into Optimus Prime. So I can kind of see why a lot of fans and collectors have been renaming him Optimus Prime because of the head sculpt, but also because of this right here. I had to turn him around to open it up. But if you open up his chest panels, he does have the same matrix of leadership that the Gamer Edition Optimus Prime figure came with. And with moving Megatron off to the side so I can get focus on Orion Pax here. But yeah, he does come with the same ion blaster that Gamer Edition Optimus Prime came with, but he has a brand new sculpted piece that allows him to actually hold it in his hand, and with a 5mm port on the bottom, so that is a nice new addition to that. It's in 2 halves, so there's a screw holding the new handle in place. But yeah, I wish they would have done that from the get-go with the Studio Series Gamer Edition Transformers action figures. His other 2 accessory pieces are these 2 wrist-mounted smokestacks. Those are a call-out to the Transformers Armada version of Optimus Prime. That was the first iteration of Optimus Prime that had the smokestacks on his lower arms. But then he's also got built-in smokestacks sculpted here on the top of his shoulders, and he's got them here on the sides of his shoulders as well. So if you can imagine those doubling as laser gun on blasters, he's as decked out not so much for battle, but for security defense purposes, the same way that similar to Megatron. But Megatron is decked out for battle, for violence, and Optimus Prime's decked out for battle to defend and everyone he knows. So fighting versus defense is the main difference between these 2 figures. I won't go into the articulation too much since I've done it on my reviews of these molds in the past. But I will say this: despite the new sculpted parts on Orion Pax, he does have the same points of articulation as Gamer Edition Optimus Prime. There's no new joints that affect the articulation of the robot mode, and he does also, turning him around, if you compare his 2 arms to each other, he does still retain the same gimmick of the right side arm popping out to have a weapon on. So if you want to swap the ion blaster that can be held by the actual hand, or where you pop it off and replace the arm with it, then you can swap. If you have both the Studio Series Gamer Edition Optimus Prime and the San Diego Comic-Con Legacy United Orion Pax figures, you can swap their blasters with each other. And speaking of their mold mates, for a size comparison, here we have the Studio Series Gamer Edition Optimus Prime figure. To stand with, for a size comparison with Orion Pax, and then with a comparison for Gladiator Megatron, here's the Netflix Voyager class Megatron figure, which is more repaint of the siege line, so you can see the differences. There are many differences as there are similarities between these figures. One thing that I do acknowledge is that almost the entirety of Orion Pax's lower legs are its new sculpted detailing, so he does stand almost a head taller than Optimus Prime does. So he's a bigger and bulkier figure than the original use of the mold. So I will most likely end up calling this guy Optimus Prime from now on, because by all accounts he's more Optimus Prime than he is Orion Pax. Whether you think that's irony or if that's appropriate, that'll be up to you to decide. Last thing I will say about Gladiator Megatron, going into the review, into my own review here, I'd watched a handful of other reviews of people who got a use of this mold. I don't think that Gladiator Megatron is suffering from any mold degradation, but I will admit his joints are much more loose than they were compared to even minor Megatron that was released in Legacy Evolution. But comparing him to the Netflix Megatron figure, which came out, I believe, in 2020 is when this figure was released, the joints on this one are much stiffer than this one was, and even though I just bought this a month ago in December, I got this figure at the same time. So technically this figure had 4 years of time to age faster than this figure, and this one has the joints on the newer figure are much looser than the one that came out 4 years prior. So I don't know if it's mold degradation or if it's just loose joints or what, but just be aware that Gladiator Megatron, he does keep on a top uppling backward, which is why I have him at an angle where he's leaning forward slightly. So I don't know if that's back weight from the pickaxe I have hanging off the back of him, but just be aware of that. And so that's pretty much all there is to say about the robot modes. Again, Orion Pax being only the second use of the Gamer Edition. Optimus Prime, he's the action figure that a lot of fans and collectors have been wanting to get from this 2-pack. I've seen many collectors say, and I've seen listings on eBay where there are a lot more Gladiator Megatrons out there than there are Orion Paxes and complete 2-packs of this set. So Orion Pax is the selling figure of this. But that said, for me personally, I enjoy having both figures in my collection here. So without further delay, before I go on babbling longer than I want to, let's get these guys transformed into their alt modes and wrap up the review. Alright, and so here are the Fractured Friendship, Gladiator, Megatron, and Security Officer Orion Pax transformed into their alt modes. Again, the only sculpted part that Gladiator Megatron has from Minor Megatron from Legacy Evolution, only difference is the paint sculpt. So if you have the Minor Megatron from Legacy Evolution, then you're getting the same figure, just done in the more G1 inspired Megatron paint job of steel, gunmetal gray, and charcoal black. So same drill tank. The only storage spot for the pickaxe is there on the side of the treads, and then unfortunately there is no weapon storage for the sword and sledgehammer that he comes with, so you just throw him on top of him and make it look like he's got junk tools applied to him. But unfortunately, the way the 5mm ports are positioned, there's no real weapon storage. If you wanted to rotate the back of the tank tread, so these 5mm ports here on his forearms are there, although you can't really shove them in too far because they'll have his hands. They'll force his hands to pop out. So yeah, unfortunately, there's no real weapon storage for the sword and sledgehammer. So just putting them around here at the back. But yeah, here they are. Orion Pax again. He's the one that's the most unique, since it's only the second use of Gamer Edition Optimus Prime. Same 6 wheels. That's one thing that's not new. But yeah, he's a much more semi-truck looking Cybertronian vehicle that he's got going for him. And the front end almost reminds me of the War Within version of Optimus Prime from the Dreamwave comic books published in the early 2000s. But yeah, there they are, transformed into their alt modes. And again, for a quick size comparison, here they are next to some of their mold mates. Here is Gamer Edition Optimus Prime standing next to Orion Pax, and here is Netflix Megatron with Gladiator Megatron. So as you can see, just as many similarities as there are differences. One last thing that I will say, one thing that Orion Pax is again a superior figure compared to Gamer Edition Optimus Prime. He's also a much longer vehicle. When you stand them beside each other, well, about the same length, but one thing that he is superior about this is the new sculpted legs hide the robot mode hands. The hands are in the same spot, but they're now just hidden from view, so Orion Pax is much more of a robot in disguise than Optimus Prime is. So this has been my review of the Transformers Legacy United San Diego Comic-Con 2024 exclusive Fractured Friendship 2-pack of Gladiator Megatron and Data Clerk Orion Pax. And for the final question of the review, do I recommend getting this 2-pack and adding it to your Transformers collection? Absolutely. You cannot go wrong having these figures in your Transformers collection. They're both pretty great, even though you don't have proper weapon storage for all of Gladiator Megatron's weapons. I still think it's a great repaint. And definitely Orion Pax is worth getting this set, paying the entire set for, or since he can double as a new action figure of Optimus Prime. So thank you guys all so much. This has been the TFN Geek, and until next time, you guys, please remember to stay safe, stay healthy, transform and roll out. Goodbye, everyone.